Jesus Christ. 2018 really is shaping up to be one of the most exciting WNBA seasons I've ever watched. Greetings and welcome to the Fan Perspective. I'm your host Nathan Nile, and this is WNBA Weekly, the show where every Monday I'll stand in front of this camera and I'll talk about everything that's happened in the past 6 days in the league and everything I'm looking forward to over the upcoming week. I want to start by talking about some of the big games that happened this week, some of my favorites. You had the Minnesota Lynx versus the Dallas Wings. Sylvia Fowles has the first ever 2020 game in Lynx franchise history. And at one point in time, the Lynx had a 25-4 run, including a 13-0 run going into halftime, as they go on to they completely dominated the Wings in that game. That was a statement victory for them. You also had the Sun versus the Sparks. Nneka versus Chiney was the story. Their numbers relatively similar, but this was all about the Sun. They had a deficit, but they overcame it with a huge fourth quarter. 37 points in the fourth quarter. They shot 72% from the floor in that quarter. And they hand LA the first loss of the year, and Connecticut becomes the first team in WNBA history to start the season with consecutive 100-point games. And another favorite, on Sunday you had Washington versus Minnesota. The Mystics at one point in time had an 18-point deficit, but they had 58 points off of their bench, and they come back to win by 12. And yes, I know Seattle had an overtime win. That just wasn't my top 3 favorite games, okay? I'm the one who's making this show. I can put whatever I want in the video. So yeah, here we are 10 days into the season and only 2 undefeated teams left. Connecticut at 3-0, Washington at 4-0. You've got 3 winless teams, the 0-5 Fever, the 0-4 Aces, and the 0-2 New York Liberty. And you've got 4 2-2 teams, including the defending champion Minnesota Lynx. Though in their defense, those 2-2 teams like the Lynx, the Mercury, the Sky, their losses are all against teams that are currently top 4 in the league. When you look at the Liberty, they're a team that's definitely going to get better, because right now they're suffering from the same thing that's actually kind of been plaguing them for years. The defense has been pretty solid, but Tina has not enough help on offense, because right now she and Kia Nurse are the only 2 players that are scored double figures in every game. But to be fair, first of all, they've only played 2 games. They have 30 more games this season to correct the ship, and they're still missing players from their roster. Kia Vaughn hasn't played yet because of overseas commitments. To Brittany Boyd, Sugar Rogers, and Epiphany Prince are all out with injuries. So the New York Liberty are a team that's going to get better as the season progresses. They're still going to challenge for the playoffs. A few players I want to give some shout-outs to. You've got Chelsea Gray, who's really coming into her own this season. I think she's emerging as a dark horse candidate for MVP. Not likely to get it because, Nneka and Candace, as the season goes on, they're going to have their time in the spotlight, where they're the ones having to carry the team. But Chelsea, she's playing amazingly. And just right now, she's consistently scoring double digits. She's leading the team in steals and assists. She's becoming one of the driving forces for this team. Once again, even though it is highly unlikely, I think, at least for right now, her early performances, she deserves some mention for that MVP conversation. And wouldn't that be some shit if LA had a 3rd player on their roster also get MVP? Once again, not going to happen just because she is playing with Candace and Nneka. They're going to steal a lot of attention from her. But she's playing incredibly well, and I just think it needs to be noted. The Sparks would not be having as much success right now if it wasn't for her, especially with Candace out. And also, let's talk about Jewel Lloyd. I think she's probably going to be player of the week. She's had 3 straight 20-point games, and Seattle has won 3 straight games. 2 straight games with 29 points, and then 1 game with 20 points and 9 assists. Like I said in the preseason power rankings, Jewel Lloyd definitely going to be at the All-Star game. And it's crazy to think who could possibly get left out. because you've got a lot of those veterans like Bird and Waylon and Taurasi who are getting there every year regardless, and a lot of talented young players as well that could put their name in the mix. Now I think, like I said, Chelsea's getting a lot of, she's playing a lot better now. Skylar Diggins as well. This league is packed with talented guards, and it's just going to be, no matter who gets left out, it's going to be a damn snub. There are just too many talented guards at the 1 and 2 spots in the Western Conference right now. So Jewel Lloyd right now, she's one of my favorite candidates for MVP, because it seems like she has become the engine that makes the Storm go. I still think without Breanna Stewart playing at a high level, they stand no chance of winning at all. But right now, it kind of feels like Seattle is becoming Jewel Lloyd's team. Also going to take a second to shout out to Gabby Williams, the rookie forward from the Chicago Sky. I don't think she's getting as much attention as she deserves for how well she's playing. A lot of people are saying she's struggling because, there are other rookies scoring 20 points a game while she scores 20 points a week. But if I'm not mistaken, wasn't she drafted for her defense? I mean, first of all, let me say this. She's a 5'11 rookie playing the 4 spot. I really don't think she should be a power forward, especially in a league like this. You've got Dallas on the schedule, and they're a team that has 6'6 and 6'8 that they can put on the floor together. I mean, you really can't play that small with 5'11 at your 4 spot when you have teams that can put 6'6 at the 3 spot if they want to. I'm just saying, I feel like Gabby should be slid down to the 3 or 2. She just can't go her entire career at that 4 spot. It's not going to work out. It's not long term. But that aside, she's top 5 on her team in rebounds. Last I checked, she was top 5 in the league in steals. She's still playing fairly well. She's having a good impact. She's struggling as much as any rookie does, but I still think she's playing better than she's given credit for. She's definitely got more of a Tanisha Wright, Alana Beard type of talent level, where like Alana Beard, she can go scoreless for an entire game, but still play 30 minutes, still have a huge impact, because her main job is to make other people work harder so that their opponents aren't scoring 100 a game. So is Gabby Williams going to be Rookie of the Year? Definitely not. The press, they put points at a much higher premium. Asia Wilson is the leading candidate right now. Kia Nurse and Mitchell in Indiana, they're all gonna be some of the leading candidates, but I still think Gabby deserves more respect than she's getting, because she is an impactful playmaker for that team. So after all of the excitement from this week, here are your current standings. And now we're going to finish off by talking about all of the games that are going to be played next week. And as always, I'm going to tell you which ones are currently scheduled to air nationally, even though there really aren't that many of them this week, not from what I see. But once again, I'll tell you what they are, and for the rest, check your local listings where you can watch every single game on WNBA League Pass. And of course, every time I tell you is going to be Eastern Standard Time. Couple of stats worth paying attention to. You got the Sun, the Mystics, and the Storm all undefeated on the road right now. They're the only teams left that haven't lost on the road. Though technically Connecticut has yet to play a road game this year. That changes this week. All of their games are on the road right now. And then you've got the Wings, the Mystics, the Sparks, and the Sun all undefeated at home. The Sun are on the road all week, but you've got teams like the Dream, the Sky, the Fever, and the Sparks who are at home all week. The Fever and the Sparks, they each only play one game this week. So they've got a pretty easy one game at home, and that's it. Then you've got a team like the Mystics, which is the exact opposite. Their schedule this week is about as bad as it can get. They've got 4 games over the next 6 days, 3 straight on the road, and the one home game that they do have is against the undefeated Connecticut Sun, guaranteeing that when I record the next episode, there will at best be one undefeated team left in the league, either the 5-0 Sun or the 8-0 Mystics. On Tuesday, you've got a couple of Twitter games, the Lynx and the Dream at 7 and the Mystics and Storm at 10. On Friday, you've got the Mercury and the Lynx at 8 o'clock on ESPN2, and you've got the Sun and Sky at 9 o'clock on ESPN3. Like I said, not a lot of national broadcasts this week. For some of the games I'm most looking forward to this week, you've got on Tuesday, the Storm versus the Mystics. That's going to be interesting because both of these teams have combined for one total loss so far this year. And I'm also looking forward to the Friday game between the Liberty and the Fever, because those teams are both winless on the season right now. So this game should be interesting. Because no offense to Indiana fans out there, but if the Liberty lose to the Fever, that means they've got some real issues right now. Also, I just double checked it. My bad, the Liberty and Fever are on Saturday. And on Sunday, the two games I'm most looking forward to, you've got the Lynx versus the Sparks, another championship rematch. The Lynx, hopefully, they're hoping to go on the road and avenge their home opening loss. And then you've also got what I'm most looking forward to, the Mystics versus the Sun, because it seems unlikely, but there's still a possibility that both of these teams could still be undefeated at this point. So this would be interesting to watch. Though, like I said, it seems unlikely just because the Mystics, to get to this point, they have 3 road games in the first 5 nights of the week. So it'll be kind of difficult for them. Scratch that, I keep messing up. For the Mystics, I meant they have 3 games in the first 4 nights, because they've got Tuesday on the road, Wednesday on the road, Thursday they have off, but then Friday on the road. So, 3 road games in 4 nights, then you play against the undefeated Sun. Not gonna lie, for Washington, 8-0 would be even more impressive, but 7-1 would still be quite an accomplishment. Either way, it's going to be interesting because next Monday, there will only be, at best, 1 undefeated team left, and at best, 2 winless teams left. So that's it for this episode. Tune in next Monday for another all-new edition of WNBA Weekly. And until then, this has been The Fan Perspective. I'm your host, Nathan Lyle. Hope you have a great week. Thank you for watching this video. Be sure to leave a comment down below who you got, the Sun or the Mystics. Which team is going to be the number 1 seed? Or could both of them have a rough week and end up getting 2 losses, and then the number 1 seed, would it be, the Sparks or the Storm? Or hell, what if it was the Lynx? Just tell me who you think is going to be the number 1 seed by next Monday. Also, Fever or Liberty, who you got there? Which of those teams is going to get their first win? Or will the Aces beat both of them to the punch and grab their first win of the season?